My name is Dawson Fairbanks. I'm a PhD student in the Department of Soil, Water, and Environmental Science. So I'm from a small island in southeast Alaska. There it's a big fishing community, and so I got kind of interested in science with things like climate change impacts there. And so there we're very much reliant on the natural resources like fishing. And so I guess I grew up really integrated within that environment, knowing that humans and nature exist codependently. And so there also, we're very much threatened by climate change impacts with things like sea level rise, glaciers retreating, and so forth. And so that, I guess, was kind of my starting point into science. I worked for AmeriCorps for a year before I came to school here at the University of Arizona, and I got linked up with the Critical Zone Observatory network here. So the Critical Zone Observatory Network is this national and now worldwide network of observatories that focuses on understanding fundamental aspects of Earth systems. So the critical zone is this area that extends from bedrock all the way up to the tops of trees and integrates all these different scientists that study these different disciplines. And so we're a group of scientists all working together to provide understanding of how terrestrial ecosystems work, how they're going to provide things like clean air and water, cycle nutrients, and provide critical services for society essentially. So I study microbiology. So microbes are these tiny things that you cannot see without a microscope. My research has been conducted up in northern New Mexico in the Valles Caldera National Preserve. This is a 16-mile wide supervolcano, essentially, where there were these resurgent lava domes that rose after the last eruption some 60,000 years ago. And so it's on these lava domes, it's about 3,000 meters in elevation, where we're conducting our research. I study primarily bacteria and fungi in soil and how they decompose nutrients within the soil to provide food for plants and trees. They also break down rocks in the critical zone, and that's another important aspect of my research. So soils are actually the most diverse ecosystems on Earth. There's more bacteria in a single gram of soil than there are people on Earth. And so there's a ton of biodiversity in soil that we don't know very much about. And so that is kind of the crux of my research now. So I'm looking at the role of hot spots and hot moments and how these control biogeochemical cycling on Earth. So hot spots are areas that have intensified biogeochemical cycling relative to the surrounding landscape. And these hot moments are things like fire or precipitation dynamics that are sort of these pulse events that change ecosystem dynamics. And so we're using new technology to actually look at all of the microbes that exist in soil, understanding all this biodiversity, and there's huge applications for this in other fields as well. And so the goal of my research and why I think it is important is to better understand how microbes respond and adapt to these changing environmental conditions and climate, whether they're going to take up more of these greenhouse gases or release more of these greenhouse gases in response to some of these climate conditions.